Welcome to the 25 books I want to read in 2025. No one does it better. You just spoiled first 100 pages for me. You know what I'm saying? The way it ended, I was like, ooh, I'm afraid. Y'all, I know I'm gonna eat this one up. We're gonna be blessed with so many good books in April. They're so cute. We are getting fed. I'm gonna be sat. Next is an iconic book. I cannot talk about books I'm excited for in 2025 without mentioning my queen. We have some new releases as well as some books that I have been really wanting to read and will hopefully get to in the new year. 25 books is a lot, but considering I think I'm at 108 right now for my reading goal, I think it's definitely possible I can get to these books. And I've included series as a whole if I haven't started them because I want to read the first book and then decide if I will continue the series after that. So let's get into it. The first book, and I know I said this isn't ordered, but I don't know how I could start off this video without talking about this book first, and that is Miss Emily Henry's new release, Great Big Beautiful Life. I love Emily Henry literally so much. She is such an incredible author, and I feel like she does, I wouldn't even consider her books rom-coms. They're definitely romance books with a more women's fiction literary plot, and the characters always have such depth and are working through difficult things in their life, and you see how they work through that, as well as obviously there's a romance, so a relationship that blooms in their life, and I feel like she does such a good job in literally every single aspect. Her storytelling is amazing. I'm never lost or confused. I love the way she writes. The characters she creates, I love them all. Seriously, every single one of her books. I have given 5 stars the first time I've read it. And if you want to hear me rave about Emily Henry more, you can go watch my video because I read all of her books in 1 week. So excited for A Great Big Beautiful Life. I do know it's about 2 writers competing for this story, and that's about it. I'm assuming the writers end up falling in love, but I'm also curious to see what they discover about themselves and to learn about what they're working through. Oh, I'm so excited. And this book is expected to be released April 22nd of 2025. I will say the expected publication dates for books that are going to be released next year that I'm going to talk about, but just know that they might change for whatever reason. All right, next we have Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros, and this is the 3rd book in Fourth Wing, or the Empyrean series, and I know this is planned to be 5 books, I think, but the 3rd one comes out next year and I'm so excited. I loved Fourth Wing. I think I read it like 3 times, obviously before I started this channel, but I am so down for a reread of that and Iron Flame. I love both of those books literally so much. I did like Fourth Wing better than Iron Flame, but I did think Iron Flame was still good. The way Iron Flame ended, I just remembered. I'm so excited to see what happens in Onyx Storm. I'm so excited to see the dragons, where everything has led these characters that we've been following along on. And yeah, if you haven't read Fourth Wing yet, you need to hop on it because it's so freaking good. The 3rd book I'm excited for is Say You Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I think I still have one Abby Jimenez book that I haven't read, which is the book before Yours Truly and Same Time Next Summer. I think it's Part of Your World. But I love Abby Jimenez and I'm so excited. She is an author for me, so anything that she releases I will pick up. She does rom-com so well. Her books will make you laugh but also will pull at your heartstrings because the characters have a lot of emotional depth to them, and this book is expected April 1st, so April's gonna be a big month, I have a feeling. I actually have no idea what this book is about, but I'm still gonna read it, and I kind of don't want to know what this book is about because sometimes when I read the back I'm like, you just spoiled like the first 100 pages for me, you know what I'm saying? But I will be supporting my fellow Minnesotan because Abby Jimenez, yes, lives in Minnesota, which is where I live, if you didn't know. Oh, another book I'm so excited for is Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli, and this is the 2nd book of the Crimson Moth series, and I loved that book. It was so good. It was such a fun fantasy. It had to do with witches, and the romance in it was on point. They were both kind of playing each other, which was a lot of fun, and then the way it ended, I was like, ooh, what's gonna happen? So excited for this next book, and that book comes out February 18th. We're getting some good fantasy books right at the beginning of the year, which I am so excited about. Also, this random blanket is just sitting on my bed because Thor is actually sleeping in there, so that's staying there until he gets out. Going with this continuing series theme is the third book in the Emily Wilds Encyclopedia of Fairies, which is Emily Wilds Compendium of Lost Tales. So I actually haven't read the second book yet, but I know I'm gonna love it and continue the series because I love the first book so much, and third book does come out next year. I'm pretty sure that's the completion. I think it's just gonna be a trilogy, and that is also expected in February on the 11th, which is my mom's birthday. So happy early birthday, Mom, even though it's 2 months away. I cannot talk about books I'm excited for in 2025 without mentioning my queen, Elsie Silver. No one does a small town cowboy, small town ranch, small town single dad, small town anything romance better, I'm afraid. No one does it better than my queen, Elsie Silver. I swear she puts crack in her books because I can just sit down and read like 200 pages, no problem. I'm like, what did you put in this book, Miss Girl? So freaking good. Her new release, Wild Side, is expected to come out March 4th next year, and I am so excited for this book. I know it's enemies to lovers. We gotten glimpses of these characters in the first 2 books of the Rose Hill series, so y'all, I know I'm gonna eat this one up. I'm so excited. We also have another one of my favorite authors releasing a book next year, which is Ashley Poston, and her new release is Sounds Like Love, which is expected to come out June 17th next year. I'm so excited for this book. I love Ashley Poston. She's so unique because she has magical realism in all of her romances. I've loved every single one. I love her writing. It just speaks to my soul is the only way I can put it. I know this has something to do with music, and that's a central theme. Sounds Like Love. I'm really excited to see how she incorporates the magical realism and get to know these characters. I'm obsessed with her covers. They are so freaking cute. Also, The 7-Year Slip is probably one of my favorite books of all time. So, Sounds Like Love, I'm excited. I love music. I listen to it every day. I play the piano when I can. So I'm excited to see what this book has in store for us. Another author that I've read a couple of her books and she is releasing a new book next year is Carly Fortune. And the book I want to really read that she's releasing next year is One Golden Summer, which is expected to come out May 6th. I have read Every Summer After and This Summer Will Be Different. I read This Summer Will Be Different a few months ago and I loved that book. It was so good. I haven't read Meet Me at the Lake yet, which was, I believe, her 2023 release, but I would like to read that as well. But for next year, One Golden Summer, I have my eye on. I think we've met one of the characters in this book before. I'm not sure if it was Meet Me at the Lake or Every Summer After. Her books kind of blend together for me. I feel like I need to reread Every Summer After because I don't really remember. Like, I do kind of remember what it was about a little bit, but anyways. Okay, so the 9th book I am so looking forward to reading next year is Accomplice to the Villain, and this is the 3rd book and I believe the final book in the Assistant to the Villain series. When I read that book, I gave it a 4.5. I'm like, maybe it's a 5 now, but when I was reading it, I just giggled. I thought it was so unique and different to any of the other fantasy books I've read. The main character is literally an assistant to a kingdom's villain. It made me think of The Office, and then I went on Goodreads and it was like a mashup of The Office and Once Upon a Time, and I was like, wait, that's so true. Just all the interactions you're getting between the characters, all their dynamics and their personalities coming together. It's hilarious. And then the second book fell a little flat for me, mostly just because of the romance, but other than that, I still enjoyed it. I'm really excited for this last one. I feel like sometimes sequels or the second book of trilogies can kind of disappoint me, but I love her writing. I love these characters, so I'm excited to see where this 3rd book takes them, and it is expected August 7th of 2025. Another book in a series is Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. I just read Phantasma recently and I loved that book. I believe they're interconnected standalones, so they can be read separately, and I'm pretty sure the second book, Enchantra, is about the sister, so I'm excited to see her story. We got glimpses of her in the first book. So the sister story comes out April 8th of 2025. Again, April is just we're gonna be blessed with so many good books in April. Next is The Love Haters by Catherine Senner, and that is expected to be published May 20th of 2025. And I read The Bodyguard by her and I really like it, and I'm not sure if I've read another book by her. I have another one of her books on my physical TBR that I really want to get to, and I just remember really enjoying it. I wanted to read the rom-commers this year, but unfortunately didn't get to it when I had it from the library, but I think it's on Kindle Unlimited, so I could just pick it up anytime now. So yes, excited to hopefully read this book as well well as more of Kathleen Center in the coming year. I'm pretty sure every single book I've just talked about is a new release in 2025. So now I'm going to talk about books that aren't new releases, but are books that I've been meaning to get to. And the first is A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. I am so shocked I haven't read this book. I am obsessed with the show. It might be one of my favorite shows of all time. I love the show, but I feel like I've been putting this off because it's incomplete and fans have been waiting so long for this series to be complete. I'm like, can I really do that for myself and sit and wait for all the books to come out when I know like how the series ends? Although don't even talk to me about season 8. I will say people I think hate on it too much. And I'm like, y'all didn't know Dany was mad? Look at what she did in Meereen. Come on. You're telling me she is not a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Like, yes, it accelerated very quickly. And yes, the ending was crazy. Bran the Broken, like, bruh, come on. I could go on about it for hours, but that's what we're not gonna do. I think 2025 might be my year where I start the book series A Game of Thrones, because I've never read it, which is shocking because I'm obsessed with the show as well as with House of Dragons. So I think it's time.
It is time.
Speaking of insanely popular fantasy series, we also have Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. I don't even know how old I was the last time I read these books. I was so young. I haven't read them since, and I really want to do a reread in my adulthood. I don't even remember reading them. I remember reading the first one, and then I obviously am in love with the movies. I'm like, did I even read them? I have them all, but I'm pretty sure I did when I was younger, but I just don't remember. So I would love to read those in 2025. Moving on to 14, and that is Rewind It Back by Liz Tom Ford. I binged the Windy City series in like a week. I was just randomly on Kindle Unlimited and downloaded them, and I had seen them a little bit but was like, I'm not really interested in reading them, and I ate them up so quick. The last one is especially my favorite. I gave that 5 stars. I've reread it multiple times. I am obsessed with that book. Play along. The 5th book in the series comes out in 2025, and I am so excited. We've met this character before. He's been searching and searching for love. He's kind of been annoying about it, but now it's his time, and I'm so excited to see all the characters, especially as Anne Kennedy. They're so cute. This book is expected April 24th. Oh my god, April again. We are getting fed. I'm gonna be sat in April. We are over halfway, and coming in at 15 is Wild and Raygold by Lila Sage, another small town cowboy romance queen. And this is the 4th and I believe last book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series, and it comes out April 15th. Do I need to say anything else about April? I love the first book. I love the second book. The third book was meh for me, but I'm really excited for this one because we've seen them in the past, and the prologue of the last book was actually about something that happens, I think, and gonna start off this next book very beautifully. So I'm excited to get into this one and be in this cute little Wyoming ranch town again. Nothing hits better than a small town romance. Ugh. So good. Another series that I would love to read in 2025 is Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I've heard so many good things about this series. I really want to read her Yellowface novel as well, but Poppy War is what is on this list. I've heard so many good things. I love a female lead character in a fantasy, so I don't really know too much about it. I've just heard it recommended so many times, and when it's recommended so many times, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna just see what the vibes are and then see how I feel, because I don't want to spoil anything, you know? Next is another new release, and it is called It's a Love Story by Annabelle Monaghan. I read Summer Romance this year and absolutely fell in love with it. It's been circulating in my family for I don't even know how long now. I don't even have my copy with me. I'm like, do I just buy another copy? Because I love that book so much. I've been meaning to read her backlog, and then I also really want to read this book too because I just instantly fell in love with her. One book, she became an auto-buy author. I will read anything she releases. I also really want to read this YA fantasy series next year, and that is Once Upon a Broken Heart. I feel like so many people love this series. I really enjoyed her writing, Stephanie Garber's writing, and Caraval that I read a couple months ago, and then I want to finish that Caraval series actually before I read this one. I know you don't have to do that, but I've heard events can spoil things. I do really want to finish the Caraval series, but it's just like not on the top of my list. We'll hopefully get to finish Caraval and then get to Once Upon a Broken Heart next year. Next is an iconic book, maybe the most popular science fiction book of all time, and that's Dune. I have it on my shelf. I've been meaning to read it for so long. It's just very intimidating to me. I love the first 2 movies, so like I already have a little bit of a background, but I don't know why I keep putting this book off. It's just been intimidating me pretty much. Another in the realm of science fiction, dystopian fantasy is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. My sister-in-law actually read this and raves about it. I've seen other people read it and rave about it. I know set in the future, and there's basically no illnesses, so humans can't die. Food insecurity has been solved. Basically, all the social problems that kill people have been solved. All the illnesses and diseases that kill people have been solved. So you can't die, you're immortal, but then you have to do population control. So like that's this world that we're in, and I'm excited. It sounds really interesting. I haven't read a dystopian in a really long time, so I would love to read this book, and if I enjoy it, get to the rest of the series as well. And then another series I've been wanting to read is Mistborn, and I've just been wanting to read Brandon Sanderson. This is the series I've heard most about. If there's a different Brandon Sanderson book that I should start out with, let me know, because I want to get to some of his books next year. I've heard he's an amazing fantasy author. Love to get into more adult epic fantasy next year, and I feel like Brandon Sanderson is a great place to start. And I've been meaning to read Stephen King. I don't know how long, probably just a few months actually, but horror scares me. I cannot do scary movies. I will literally plug my ears like this and close my eyes. So there's no point in me watching a scary movie, but maybe a book would be better. And then I also know he does other books that aren't horror, and I know he's like such a great author, so I'd really love to give his work a try. Again, if you have any horror recommendations from Stephen King, let me know. The book I have on my list is 11/22/63, which is I think a time travel book about the JFK assassination and trying to stop that. I know it's a brick though. I think it's like 1,000 pages, but what better way to start Stephen King than go all in and read 1,000 pages of his writing? Coming in at 23, I put Anxious People, but honestly, I think Beartown, now that I'm sitting here, is higher on that list by Frederick Bachman. I read A Man Called Ove this year, and I love that book. I thought the main character was like so endearing. He was definitely crabby, but it just pulled at my heartstrings. I loved the way he wrote. Really want to read more of his books next year. I know Beartown can be kind of sad, but I feel like kind of now in the winter is a good time to read it. And then this isn't a book, but basically I want to read Mari McFarland. I don't know what book I should start with. I've heard other creators rave about her, specifically Haley Pham, and I want to give her a try. I feel like I would love her writing. I think it's romance, but more literary / women's fiction, which I think I enjoy. Reading so many romance books, traditional romance books, can get old sometimes, so to have a romance but more literary where the characters have emotional depth is something I really enjoy, so I feel like I would really enjoy her works. If you've read her and love one of her books, let me know what one I should start out with. But yeah, I just have any of her books. I haven't done too much deep dive into like what one I would read first, so if you have any recommendations, let me know. Coming in at 25 is the first book in another series. This is why I need to finish all my series that I'm currently reading, because I have so many series that I want to get to in 2025. It's like there's too many books and not enough time. The struggle is real, but the series is Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. I know this is on Kindle Unlimited, and I've just heard really good things. I've heard if you like Throne of Glass, you'll like this series, and I love Throne of Glass, as we all know. So if someone tells me to read something because I like Throne of Glass, I'm gonna pick it up. So I have this on my list for next year. Hopefully I get to it. I heard it's like a nice slow burn. There's a romance, which I love a romance and a fantasy, so I'm really excited to hopefully get to that next year as well. And with that, those are all the books I'm hoping to get to in 2025. If you have any books you want to read next year, or other books you think I would enjoy and should read next year, you can leave those in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!